everybody. I want to thank you for tuning in to a special edition of Steel City Sports World. I'm your host, Luther Dupree, joined as always, Claudio Rosano, Philip Williams, and Smokin Jim is by phone tonight. So make sure you give us a call. The number's scrolling in at the bottom of the screen. Send us some comments. A lot of stuff to talk about, but like we do, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Claudio? What's going on with you?
Good. Thank you. Always glad to be on.
All right, Phil, what's going on with you? We you all set up, man? You good?
I'm living a dream, buddy. Living a dream.
All right, yeah, you got that hat on backwards, man. Looking like Shador Sanders out there, man. He got some heat about having his hat on backwards. You know what I mean? NFL don't like that, huh? What's up, Jim? How you feel?
I feel great, buddy.
All right. Listen, number to call in 412-530-5063. Unlike these guys, I follow all sports, WNBA, NBA, and everything. So I don't specialize just in baseball and football like Smokin Jim and Claudio. But we're going to hit it all. Jump in, call in if you want. But let's get it started. Claudio, what do you got for us in the huddle up, Claudio?
Watching the Pirate game, okay, just today and the past couple days, I'm going to give them some free advice. Tommy Pham, okay? He's getting up in years, still has half-decent hands. He's hitting like 146. He needs to make some adjustments. He's going too far back, or he has too far to come from point A to point B to hit the ball. And he's been late. He's not hitting well. And also, today I watched him. When he did hit the ball well, he was what I always say, keeping that front side closed. So you would think that this new hitting coach and all these new hitting coaches that they have would say, hey, when you're staying closed, you have more play coverage, your head discipline's better, your power improves. Let's work on staying closed. And while we're at it, let's shorten up your swing a little bit. Let's not make it so long. As we get older, we get a little slower. Father Time's undefeated. Back up in the box a little bit, shorten your swing a little bit, and he could still do well. Look at McCutcheon's swing. Short, sweet, simple. But they won't do it. Now, Henry Davis, what did I say last year? Place the bat on his shoulder. Finally, they're doing that. Okay, they made him go through hell. Why didn't they do this at the beginning? I don't know. But it's common sense that these things, that they can fix these guys. More than half they won't fix. A few maybe they will. I don't know. But now they're on the past several years, 3 hitting coaches, and now the Pirates, after 16 games, I believe they were hitting 184, which is the lowest since the Brooklyn Suburbias, before they were the Dodgers. That's how bad it's been. But there's little tiny adjustments that if they made, okay, they could improve. O'Neal Cruz hit a single today, almost up the middle. Great plate extension or plate coverage, extension, hit on the ball, stayed closed, got a hit. You would think they would repeat that. Hopefully they will. I doubt it. But I've been saying this stuff for how long, Luther? How long have I been talking about plate coverage, staying close, head discipline?
Ever since I met with you.
What's that?
Ever since I met you, Claudio, you've been telling me about it.
You're so right. Why can't they say it? I don't know. But what's the old saying? The more you do something and expect different results, something with insanity. I forget what the hell it is.
Yeah.
But, we'll see what happens. But it's not looking good.
I hear you. All right, Smokin Jim, what you got for us? You ain't fall asleep, did you, Jim? You good?
Yeah, thanks, Lou, Phil, and Claudia. I tell you what, man, if you're a good character guy and you win a Heisman Trophy and not die in jail like Shalom, you get your number retired. Hey, listen, if you're a quarterback and you play on a team that barely wins one game a year and you turn that whole program around, you get your number retired. I would love for Cordell Stewart to have gotten his number retired at Colorado. But Colorado was the best team in the country when he got there, and it was one of the best teams in the country when he left. Sanders is the guy that turned that whole program around to the point where Phil was even wearing his hat like him. So he deserves.
Y'all gonna leave me alone, man.
It has nothing to do with his dad. He earned the right to get his number retired, and I think he's going to go 3rd overall in the draft.
Third overall to the Giants. All right. You kind of stole my thunder a little bit, Smoking Jim.
Always.
You never could do that. But, here's my thing. I wanted to talk about all these guys making, saying these guys shouldn't get retired. Tim Tebow, he didn't have his jersey retired, so they shouldn't have theirs. Listen, like you said, Jim, these guys turned the program around. Shador, 2 years, he set the records. So many records for Colorado. Travis Hunter won the Heisman. What can you say? I'm tired of all these guys, man. It's a shame. Sanders gets a lot of love for his last name, but he gets a lot of hate as well. There's no reason there should be this big complaint. Yes, Cordell should have his jersey retired. Yes, Tebow should. But if you don't have somebody pushing for you, it's not going to happen. It's just fortunate, that Deion Sanders is Deion primetime, and he got it done. Another thing I want to talk about, the WNBA had their draft. I don't know. You guys follow the WNBA, Phil, Claudio? I did.
Yes.
And it was very interesting. Yes. Two of my favorite players, Heidi Van Lith and Angel Reese, were both two of the first WNBA players to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, are back on the same team. I like it. They can go up against Caitlin Clark again and get that rivalry going. I'm excited about it. Of course, Paige Beckers had two bad ACL injuries, but brought it back. She was the number one pick going to Dallas Wings. I think it's a league on the rise. I'm excited. It's getting more and more coverage. I'm excited, the Angel Reeses, the Van List are bringing the excitement to the game along with Caitlin Clark. So I'm excited. We're going to be talking about it. I'm going to be talking about it. So make sure all you WNBA fans get ready, get your calls in, because that's something we're really going to talk about. So definitely. Go ahead, Jill.
Did Juju get drafted?
Juju tore her ACL, Jim. She got another year. Huh?
I was wondering. I missed the WNBA draft. I seen the highlights. Some girls look good in them dresses, but I wasn't sure about who got drafted. I didn't know if Juju got drafted or not.
No. She has another year. In fact, she's not going to play until the very maybe tail end, maybe around March Madness, because it's at least a year recovery possibly, and they don't want to rush her back. But yeah, that was a big loss. Was really looking for her and Paige Beckers, or her and the South Carolina team, to meet in the championship. So
UConn would have blown them out with Juju, but Rob Woodson came back in the same year and played in the Super Bowl. So
well, we'll see.
Are you saying guys are tougher?
Hey, Jim, don't put no words in my mouth. It all depends. ACLs are different. Everybody's knees are different, Jim. Hey, but let's let Phil get in here with his Feel Good segment. What's on your mind, Phil?
Well, you know what? This is really the first time that I can say I don't feel good. I'm going to give you the feel good report, but I don't feel good because the state of my Steelers, man. I'm just telling you, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm not going to say worried. I'm a little bit concerned. But here's something right now that I feel in my heart. We're getting ready to do something big, something unlike the Steelers, unlike the Steelers, just like you said. Smoking, yes, Mr. Shador is going to go early, and I do believe he's going to be wearing the black and gold in Pittsburgh. We're going to shock the world and move up and get him.
Okay.
But here's what I do got to say. All these rumors about TJ Watt, okay? He wants to leave, this and that, okay? I know a lot of people is not going to like what I'm saying here too, but we need to keep him. But it may be time for Highsmith. Highsmith reminds me a lot of Bud Dupree. Got to the quarterback, but really didn't close the deal. Okay, and he's been getting hurt a lot. If we take that $17 million off the books, put that with TJ, give him the 41, he's happy. He's still playing. But the whole key of that, you got to sign Herbig right away, too. Because you don't want Herbig, because, see, my opinion, I like how he rushes the quarterback, but I don't know if he's an every down linebacker. He's a little bit small. So right now, you sign him early to a 2-year contract where he can't demand a lot because he hasn't proven it a lot yet. and then we draft one of these young studs, and then we can be all right for a while. Short and sweet.
I don't know, man. Claudio said this a year ago, and I'm starting to be more and more like you, Claudio, where you said you think they need to trade Watt and try to see what you get in the draft. Myles Garrett reset the market, $40 million a year, so TJ Watt wants $41 million. I don't agree paying a 30-year-old guy who's had some injury concerns $41 million a year. Unlike Phil, I say trade TJ Watt and roll with Highsmith and the young guy. Can't pay him $41 million. When a guy goes out against doesn't register a sack.
I was saying that's what can be done. But I do agree with you. If we could get a haul for TJ, I'm okay with that. But I just can't see Pittsburgh's going to give Mr. Watt what he wants.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He posted that picture with him holding the peace sign. It looked like it's not going well, and he sees that he's probably going to get traded maybe around this deadline to another team that's going to be willing to pay him that $41 million. So that's what I'm looking at. I see either him or Pickens not on this team come the regular season. Claudio, your thoughts? I mean, I know what you're going to say.
Claudio should be happy now because O'Neal just hit a grand slam.
Oh, God.
All right. Thank you, Phil. Phil, I've been saying for a long time, I don't know if you remember the name Dave Kingman. Dave Kingman played for numerous teams. He was a big-time home run hitter. He hit about 210, 215, 220. He was a splash guy. He just hit the monster home runs. To me, that's what TJ Watt is. He's a splash guy. That's it. I think he's overrated. He's going to make the Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff, but I still think he's overrated. They haven't won with him. And that Jim uses all the time that back in the 50s when Ralph Kiner played for the Pirates, he went to Branch Rickey, the GM, and he said, I want a raise. And Branch Rickey very simply told him, we finished last with you. We can finish last without you. The Steelers don't win anything with Watt. They can win without him. But right now is when you trade him, you make a business decision. On Shark Tank, they had this guy who I think was from Minnesota, a small town in Minnesota. He said, I want to develop this product in Minnesota and help my people and help my community and do this. And my father didn't have money and he lost his home and I want to take care of my people. And he's crying. And the people on the Shark Tank, everybody's crying, man. Everybody's crying. This guy and the one guy, Kevin O'Leary, said, I think it could be made cheaper if it was made overseas. The guy said, no, it has to be made in Minnesota because of my community. Every single one of those panelists were in tears, but as soon as they wiped the tears off, they said, I'm out. They made a business decision. Now, I learned a lot from that, okay? TJ Watt, it'd be nice if he wore the one helmet the rest of his career, the Renegade, the sacks, the kick, the whole 9 yards, but you have to make a business decision. You can get a lot from him right now from a team who's just missing that linebacker, that player. You can get some nice draft picks. Now's the time to trade him. Pickens, I think physically he's very talented. I think now he's going to probably, in my opinion, be even worse with Metcalf there. You get rid of him too. Now, having said all that, do you trust the Steeler brass, which is really Mike Tomlin? Do you trust Mike Tomlin to make the right decisions if they do trade him and make the right proper draft picks in return? Because if you're going to make bad draft picks, then the hell with it, pay him. I don't know if I trust Tomlin enough and that group to make the right picks. But having said that, if it was me, I would definitely trade Watt. I'd trade Pickens and get some nice draft picks this year, next year, and the year after, and you start to build your team. Because if they sign Watt to $41 million, does that make them a step closer to a Super Bowl team? I don't believe so. I think it's crazy to sign, and he is starting to decline. That's something that you have to see as a coach. And one thing that Belichick, who I also think is a little overrated, The one thing about him, he knew when to get rid of a player, when to replace him, and that takes talent and risk. It takes some guts. I trade Watt, I trade Pickens, I get a lot of draft picks for them, but make sure you get damn good draft picks for them. Make sure it was worth the trade.
Jim, you want to jump
That's
in
my
with
concern. That's my concern, though. My concern is one of the big rumors that if they trade Watt, it's not even for a draft choice. It's for a quarterback.
You know what? Why don't you?
I don't know if y'all been hearing about it, but they're really talking about the Brock Purdy for TJ Watt.
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't like that. And I
I
don't
heard
like
that.
that.
Better than Mason Rudolph. But Purdy's gonna want a lot of money, and I'm not sure that he's worth what he's asking for. Jim, I know we cut you off. Your thoughts on that? We got some comments to get to.
I'm getting used to it, but listen.
Crying.
You guys would never trade Lawrence Taylor.
He's not Lawrence Taylor.
You would never trade a Derek Thomas.
He's not Derek Thomas.
You would never trade a Greg Lloyd. It's reverse discrimination. TJ Watt was black. Y'all give him $40 million with no problem. Phil can relate to this. There's 350 starting defensive players in the National Football League. TJ Watt's been one of the top 5 players on defense in the league since he's been there. So you got the chess piece already. He got to be double teamed everywhere he go. People got to know where he's at. That leaves people open. Hayward his career has flourished under TJ Watt. If you look at the Hayward stats before TJ Watt and after TJ Watt, since TJ Watt gets double teamed, hey, listen, this is a guy that is a one helmet player that gives you everything he got. I told you guys last year, after they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, I said I would bench all my starters that are injured and get them healthy. TJ wasn't healthy down the stretch.
Oh, he's never healthy anymore.
Still finished 5th in the defensive MVP voting. You already got to listen. I look at this team as a Super Bowl team. Philadelphia 2 years ago went 1-6 down the stretch. They won the Super Bowl the next year. The Pittsburgh Steelers got just as much talent as the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, Jim, come on, man. I said, Jim, there's no way you could say that.
I am 100%
running back.
Hold up.
In everything that you said. And you know what? I've been back for 2 weeks, and man, I agree with you more in these 2 weeks than I did probably the previous 20
years. Yeah, that means you got some CTE that's setting in, Phil. You agree with Jim 90% of the time?
You know what, though, Phil?
TJ Watt is more valuable because of all of the attention he gets makes everybody around him better. But here's the key. Did y'all hear this, though? He's always stayed on one side. This year, they're going to finally move him around so he cannot be just double teamed the way that he is.
Phil,
the reason why they did not move him around is because he don't like to be moved around.
Exactly. He didn't want to. He wasn't flexible. He would stay on one side, so he's easier to defend. TJ Watt is here, and he was not getting double teamed like people said. A lot of times it was just a tackle taking care of him one-on-one. He's not Myles Garrett. I've been trying to tell people. Myles Garrett has to be.
Luther.
There's never been a game where he had 0 stats, Phil. There's never been a game where he had 0 stats in a playoff game. You don't have 1 tackle, 1 assist, no sack. Come on. He's a big reason.
I think the thing that people have to kind of look at is he might be on the way down. I think he's on the way down.
Yes,
you don't give somebody a raise when they're on the way down. So I think now's the best time to get rid of him. But as far as them being compared to Philadelphia, Jim, I disagree. Do the Steelers have the type of quarterback that Philadelphia has? No. Do they have the type of offensive line? No. Do they have the running back? No. Do they have the coaching staff? No. So I don't see the comparison between the two other than they're both in Pennsylvania. Philly just got a bad run, and then they turned it up. I don't see the Steelers being that close to a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, they're definitely not. Like you said, they had all pros at quarterback and running back. On a Hall of Fame pace running back, we got a guy we don't even know if he can be a full-time running back yet. All right, let's go to these comments real quick. Frank Jackson, trade Watt. He's about to get injured like his brother. Damaged goods. All right, Frank. Who the GOAT? What's up, who the GOAT? Watt is the only one worth something on D. Would be crazy to trade him. Move Maker or Pickens. Watkins is the Steelers. All right. JMDO324 says, can't imagine Watt not in Steelers uniform. All right. And he's back in there. Can't imagine Watt in there, but now would be the time to trade him. Frank Jackson, again, he made 0 plays on D. Lee McGinnis is on the line. Lee. Is this Lee? Hey, Lee, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you finally, Lee. What's going on, Lee?
What's going on, Lee?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
We're good, man. We're good. What's on your mind? Glad you could call in today.
I mean, this is something new to me. Y'all got your little first take late at night tonight. I don't know where this is coming from. Still City Sports World late night.
It ain't that late yet, man. 9 o'clock is a good time, I think.
I know Jim ain't drinking this no coffee this late. I'm gonna say this now because this is big about the Steelers, all this stuff that's going on. Nobody don't want to play for Tomlin, and can't win those playoff games. Najee said he didn't learn nothing out of the offense. He all these different things, but the most valuable thing that the Steelers could do before the NFL draft comes to Pittsburgh is trade Mike Tomlin.
Oh.
And they'll get what they need to get. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
I knew you were going to say that, Lee.
I agree.
You agree, trade Tomlin? Listen, listen, they do that poll, and the only thing that got an A+ was Tomlin, the head coach. The facilities, trash. The training facilities, trash. The food, trash. The only reason that Matt Patrick come to the Steelers is because of Mike Tomlin. They got to build this roster. I don't care who the coach is. The roster is not good.
Luther,
the roster is good.
That says I don't throw across the middle because it's too risky for the defense. Man, what's wrong with this guy? You got to utilize everything you have on the football field.
Yep, I agree.
That was more Russell Wilson. He hasn't thrown
Tomlin.
He hasn't thrown across the middle too. He can't see over the line. It was a washed version of Russell Wilson. We'll see this year because they're going to have a stud back there. Skywalker boxing media.
And you're going to get the same pitch lines from Tomlin. We didn't do it good enough to win today. We didn't play well enough. It's going to be the same lines. You keep the same coach with the same approach, you're going to get the same results.
Exactly.
And you have better results.
Exactly.
Who are you going to bring in to be better? Who are you going to bring in to be better? All you ones who want them fired, who's going to be better? Who you get in right now? Bill, Lee.
And his wife could go to that secondhand store she got over there too.
What did you say?
And his wife could close down that secondhand store she got over there too. Get him out of here.
Oh, Lee, man, get out.
We should have bought Flores here.
Well, he was here and they let him go. He's not allowed to be a head coach. He's not allowed to be a head coach again because he sued the NFL.
Did you hear what they said? And once I started thinking about it, it is so true. Tomlin will never bring in a strong coordinator or strong coaches because he feels threatened. He only brings in people that he can control.
And let me say something about that. I understand the philosophy because as a head coach, you really have to bring in people that you trust. I have a hard time with that, to be very honest with you, because everybody wants that seat. But nobody has more security, in my opinion, than Mike Tomlin. So he could bring in a big time coordinator, because if he gets backstabbed, they're going to get rid of him. But most coaches, they do. And I know a couple stories from some pro coaches that have been backstabbed in a bad way. In college, high school, it happens all the time. But again, Tomlin has security there, so he should be more secure. But I do understand where you're coming from about that.
Man, what else is on your mind,
Think about
Lee?
it. He got rid of LeBeau because he brought threat. LeBeau, you know what I mean? Flores lasted 1 year.
There's been so much going on in the sports world. I don't know. I know y'all was talking about T.J. Watt, and I agree. You got to move him around. I think Lawrence Taylor was moved around a lot in his career. You got to give the defense different looks, even though the defense, the offense. I mean, you got to give the offense different looks, even though the offense dictates by personnel on what they want to do. I agree with all that, but I just have an issue. We was all last year caught up in the hype with Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. They up there going to be up at the New Year's ball next year because they're up in New York. They're going to be having fun up in New York. And the thing is, this man is at rock bottom right now. This has never been done. This has never happened in Steeler history. We don't really know who our quarterback is because of Tomlin and his philosophies. It's nothing but hype. And I just feel the best thing to do is say it's time to walk away because he's not keeping up with the times of football with his philosophies.
All right, man. I disagree. I mean, we'll see. You know, I don't like where the quarterback position is right now. They're still waiting on Aaron Rodgers to go into his dark cabin and figure out what he's going to do. But if it was me, I'd move on. You know, Mason's here, draft a quarterback, do what you have to do to get Shador Sanders. Smokin Jim is real high on Jackson Dart. I think he's the next version of Kenny Pickett, except he has a more man-sized hands and a live arm, but he's still the same as Kenny Pickett, not worth the first-round pick. Jim, what would you do with that position?
What would I do with what?
The quarterback position, Jim.
The quarterback position, they have the quarterback.
Who?
He's just waiting for a 2-year contract. Aaron Rodgers, he don't like the 1-year deal. He's just waiting on a 2-year contract.
Man,
it's already a backroom. It's already a backroom deal. Signed just like I told everybody, he wasn't coming to the McAfee show. We got one host on the radio that we do a radio show with called in and said a friend of his says Rodgers is there. I don't know why people go against me. I told everybody Rodgers wasn't coming to the McAfee show. He's not making. He might show up. He'll show up at the very least training camp. And that would be no problem. He can still take the Steelers to the Super Bowl. He's not going to sign before the draft because he wants to see what they're going to do at the quarterback position, and he wants a 2-year deal. And
why would you get it? He's 41. He doesn't need a 2-year deal.
He'll sign. Well, Brady played till he was 45.
He's not Brady.
Well, he's pretty.
He's nowhere near Brady.
MVP.
Tom Brady was a leader.
MVP. He probably won more MVP.
And he's been to how many Super Bowls? He folds in the big games, Jim.
You go talking like the white media.
Oh, I'm talking about stats. I'm talking about stats, Jim. No, facts are facts. You don't want to hear facts when you're wrong. He's had more MVPs and got knocked out as the #1 seed than Tom Brady.
He beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Dallas and Times Ward when they was at the strip club.
Here you go back to that. You was at the strip club with him, Jim. I blame you.
Well, let me just say he's a better fit. He's a better fit in Pittsburgh than Brady would because Aaron Rodgers is not going to put up with any mess from the coaches or the players.
Because he's going to be the one causing it.
When he says run 15 yards and come back to 12, you better run 15 yards.
Yeah,
back to 12.
Yeah, because he'll go on Pat McAfee's show and blast you like he did Mike Williams last year. I mean, he's a cancer. He's a horrible leader, Jim. That's why he only has one Super Bowl. What? Wrong to go and blast the receiver? Yes.
Ben did it. Ben did it.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers is the worst leader I've seen. Ben wasn't great, but he wasn't throwing guys under the bus like A-Rod. He throws coaches, players, girlfriends. His girlfriend said that was the worst year of her life when she was messing with this guy. He doesn't even talk to his mom, dad, his brother. He's not leading nobody to the Super Bowl. Move on from this.
Let me say this about Aaron Rodgers. Ben is the reason why the Steelers is in this situation when he got the great Todd Haley fired. And also one thing about Aaron Rodgers, and me and you, Lou, we talk now. We on the show talking about it. He has to be. He is real comfortable, and what he likes to run is the West Coast concepts. Art Smith's offense is not West Coast concepts. That's going to be a conflict between those two, and how is that going to work out?
Yeah. You know, make a great point. I always say that things have to be like Purdy. He's a good fit in San Francisco. Would Rodgers be a good fit here in Pittsburgh? I don't believe so. You make a great point. But again, having said that, what I don't like is with Smith. If you don't have the running game to go with your philosophy, and you have a passing game, then pass. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, Chuck Knox was always known for his running game. But with the year that Kurt Warner got hurt and Franco didn't work out, what did he do? He threw all day long. He adjusted. That's the life. You make adjustments. These guys, I'm a running coach, and that's all they're going to do is run. But maybe you don't have the running backs to run, so you're going to have to throw. But then again, with the Steelers, right now, they don't have the passers either. So I think it's a complete mess. But Phil does make a good point. If Rodgers comes here, you would hope that the offensive coordinator would make adjustments. But to the talent you have. Again, like in baseball, Billy Martin, when he was with the Yankees, they had guys like Reggie and Chambliss and guys who could hit home runs. So go hit home runs. But when he went to the Oakland A's, what did they call it? Billy ball, stolen bases, hit and run. He adjusted to his talent. The coaches, if you're a good coach, you adjust to your talent. I don't think Smith or Tomlin will do that.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into. Hey, Lee, you still there?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the late notice, and this is a late show, and I'll talk to y'all.
You're an old man. It's 9 o'clock, Lee. God, dog, hold on.
The time. I'm surprised Jim ain't at one of his late meetings, but like I said, the slogan is trade Mike Tomlin. You got value there.
All right, man.
Might get some more luxury box seats. Trade him.
Appreciate the call, Lee, man. Hey, he opens up a call it. All right, Lee. Hey, we got a couple more comments. We got who to go. Y'all need to stop hating on Tomlin. A-Rod is a bum. Did y'all see the Jets last year? He's done. Frank Jackson, Art Smith is trash. I'll say that. Tomlin made a big mistake hiring that bum from Atlanta. I wasn't a big fan of Art Smith either. Didn't like him at Tennessee. Liked him even less at Atlanta. And wasn't impressed with the offense last year. Only time the offense looked good was when Russell Wilson was audible on every play in the Cincinnati game, the first Cincinnati game. And then he got banned from doing audibles after that. Hey, number to call, 412-530-5063. One thing I do want to get, appreciate the call, the transfer portal. Quarterback, Nico, I am leaving. Was in the portal. He wanted $4 million. He was getting $2 million from Tennessee, left, didn't show up for practice, wanted $4 million. Now it looks like he's going to be going to UCLA. Your thoughts on that, Jim? I want to ask you first, your thoughts on that. Then I want to ask the rest of you guys.
Well, everything's a negotiation now. I mean, the guy's not a slave. He's not property. He can negotiate. He wanted $4 million. That's all he's worth. This quarterback's getting that. Tennessee didn't feel like they didn't have to pay him, so he's at UCLA.
And he's still not getting $4 million. He got a little raise, but not $4 million.
Well, he's at UCLA. You know, he can transfer. It ain't back when only thing you get is laundry money. These guys now, it's just negotiation. It'd be hard for me, to coach some of these kids, because they are. But that's the way it is. It's a negotiation now. It's like if you're an agent for rappers. I mean, these rappers are 18, 19, 20 years old, and they may make a demand that you may have to let them out of their contract with Suge Knight holding you over the belt.
Jim, how you got that from that? Or you may have to go to a P. Diddy party. So there's a lot of stuff. Listen, I love the transfer portal. I think it's great for the kids. I don't agree with what he did. You're about to start camp and you don't show up and you're trying to get extra money. I mean, I think he was a little overhyped. I didn't think he was that great, but he's one of the next ones coming out of this class that everybody says is going to be a great quarterback class. And the more I look, I'm starting to be like you, Jim. I'm not sure if it's that great of a class. There's some feedback coming from somebody. I'm going to mute you guys real quick to find out where all the feedback is coming from. All right, there we go. But listen, I love it. I don't have a problem with it, but I hate what this Nico I am leaving doing. Claudio, Phil, your thoughts?
Well,
Yes,
I
like the thought about that is that he's seen or heard that his family, with his father, is one of his agents. Is basically
Phil,
even because
you're freezing up. Come back in.
They didn't bring no line recruits in because he's tired of getting concussions.
Hey Phil, I'm gonna pull you out and come right back in because we're getting a lot of feedback. I didn't hear what you said. Come right back in. All right, Claudia, what were you saying about that? As far as
I like the NIL, but I don't like the way it's being done. I don't like the fact that, like, for example, there was one CAA basketball team that lost all that one that made it to the tournament that lost all its players. I like them getting compensated, but I don't like it. I don't like the coach. I don't like the system. I'm not playing. I'm leaving. I mean, it's ruined college basketball for the fans. Okay, let me separate it. It's ruined it for the fans, but really it hasn't because, for example, St. John's, they weren't anything for quite a while. This year it brought it back. So it's really, I never ride the fence. I think you know that by now, but I'm kind of riding the fence. I like that the players are being compensated, but is it good for the game overall for the fans? Maybe not. Boy, I don't know. And as far as this quarterback is concerned, what do I always say? This guy says something, then this guy says it, and then everybody says it. And the Italians have a saying, if 50,000 people say a stupid thing, it's still a stupid thing. Maybe he's not as good as everybody says he is, but everybody's saying he's good. So they're afraid to go off that lane, off the cuff. But yeah, I know I'm admitting I'm riding the fence on this, on the NIL part of it. I like it, but I don't like it.
yeah, I hear you. Anything else you want to add to that, Jim? Jim?
No, I think Claudio said it the right way, riding the fence like you guys do Canelo.
No, I don't like Canelo. There's no riding the fence. I think he's a drug cheat. I think he's overrated. There's no riding the fence. But do you think now their new coach, he just got there last year, Deshaun Foster, 5-7 last year. Now he finally has a better quarterback this year. So I think that's a great move for him. This guy is going to be a top 10 lottery pick is what they're saying. So I like the move, but the whole way it was done, I didn't like. Now, also, there were reports that all the quarterbacks that led their team to the college playoffs, a lot of them were threatening to hold out unless they got more money. So there's a lot of bad advice going on, and we got to see where it takes place. But I like the fact that they're not locked in to the same school. The coaches leave. Why can't the players leave? So
You know what's about that comment, and I understand what you're saying, but the coaches don't leave every year.
they can.
But they don't.
True, and not all players leave every year.
It is getting kind of
It's
getting kind of ridiculous now that these guys are playing at 3 and 4 schools, though, man.
Yeah.
How about this? How about if you trade T.J. Watt to get that quarterback? See, that might be next. The guy from the pros goes back to college.
Oh man, there's a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot. Again, number to call 412-530-5063 or send a comment.
Speaking about the portal, though, Lou, I'm surprised you didn't talk about your guy Tamir.
Who? Tamir.
Yeah, he left Penn State.
Oh wow, I didn't know Tom. Really? He was going to get more time. That must be a recent move.
He hit the portal a little while ago.
Oh,
yes.
Wow. Well, oh man, I got to talk to my man Aaron about that. Man, he's from Brashear. It looked like he was getting more time, so maybe somebody offered him a bigger bag and playing time. But again,
and Bobby Boyd, I think, and Bobby Boyd hit the portal at Cal State.
Well, yeah. Wow. Yeah, see, at Cal State, you figured out what's going to happen. There's a couple guys that have made some noise. Now they can go to a higher level. But I'm surprised about Tamir. Would you say Smokin, Jim?
He wasn't going to get no play time at Penn State. Get out of here.
He was getting playing time last year, and he was supposed to get more playing time.
Well, they got Arrington's son coming in on Bogart number 11.
Yeah.
So he's going to play.
And Deshaun as well. Deshaun Burnett is going to play as well. So there was a lot of competition.
Maybe he may have to play a new position. They may move him to defensive end. They're already trying to put weight on him because the boy's strong on the squad. So Penn State ruins more players, just as many players as they help.
Wow, I disagree, man. Phil, you dropped something on me. I did not know that. I wonder, is he going to come to Pitt? Is he going to Pitt? Pitt needs to be up all night immediately.
No, they said that Pitt is trying to be aggressive real quick. But did you know that his backup is the dude from Central, Specker?
Oh, Phil, you're breaking up a little bit again.
I don't know what's wrong.
All right, I'm gonna pull you back one more time. Hopefully, you can get that together, man. Jim, I think he has your connection today, man. But I feel bad, man. I thought that was a great move for Tamir Robinson, and it works out. Claudio, that's the guy we had on our show a couple.
Yeah. But why wouldn't Pitt make a big run for him?
I agree. Maybe they have. I don't know. But maybe he got an offer he can't refuse.
They don't even recruit locals, so they probably don't even know who he is. He got to go to Delaware, somewhere like that.
Delaware.
And that's where Flacco went.
Yeah.
Hey, man, the bottom line is if you play and you play well, they'll find you. Penn State's political. Listen, Jim Kelly was going to go to Penn State and then found out the last minute they were going to move him to linebacker. So, like I said, some of these schools ruin more players. I done seen players go to places as a linebacker. They beat you up and make you a defensive end, and you're never the same athlete. So,
Great point.
Better watch out for that because they already got him doing them squats. He's doing heavy squats. That'll put a lot of weight on you. You ain't beating out Arrington's son.
Oh man, he had that number 11. I didn't know who was going to get it, but I forgot Arrington's son was up there, and he looks like a player, and he has the pedigree and the name, so he's definitely going to get it.
Well, he got the name right now because he ain't did a dang on thing yet. on campus to get that number 11. He ain't earned it yet. Just because who his daddy is, so he got the name. That's it. Like,
All right, we got Who the Goat back in here. He said Franklin is sending guys to the league. I guess he's talking about Coach Franklin, Jim.
Terry Smith is sending guys to the league.
Well, isn't he on the coaching staff, Jim? I mean, is it on Coach Franklin's staff?
Franklin's an offensive coach. When's the last time they sent anybody on offense to the league?
They got a couple receivers in the league right now, Jim.
Where doing what?
Philadelphia.
Going from team to team. Going from team
Are they?
to team.
No, I said, are they in the league? And they just had a Super Bowl running back. You know, who could have been the MVP of the league.
John thought he was washed up, just like you guys think T.J. Watt is on the other side. The Giants thought that Barkley was on the other side.
No, they just were cheap, and they wanted to pay that quarterback who trips over his own feet.
His stats look like he was on the other side.
No, it's just because they were stacking the line and had a poor quarterback.
Oh, now they were stacking the line.
Oh, they were. He was running with 8 in the box. He was running with 8 in the box, and now he has a line. He has a quarterback, 2 good receivers. And anyway, last thing I want to go to again, if you all want to call in 412-530-5063. A lot of people watch it on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and we do have another caller. Caller, say your name where you're calling from. This is Mark Brentley on the line.
Yes, sir. Hey, Luther, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. How you doing, sir?
Oh, hey, man, it's great. Hey, listen, you want to know how popular you guys are. I'm not even a sports guy, man, but I just learned so much, and I enjoy the back and forth, and I enjoy the entertainment value of it. So, but you also talk about things that I don't hear on television, on the regular news and stuff. But I just want to know, can somebody tell me, everybody's pumped up about the NFL draft coming here next year. Has anybody put a scout team out there, maybe in Detroit last year, to see what can we expect? You know, what is it going to be? I mean, hell, will I get a a baseball cap or a T-shirt or a set of dishes or something? You know what I mean? What do we get out of it? You know, I know the big boys will shine. I know you have a national spotlight on it, and I know that the Steelers, or not the Steelers, the NFL have reached out and had, I think, 2 community meetings for businesses and entrepreneurs.
Right.
But I'm just still, what are the takeaways? If anybody can kind of tell me if they've ever experienced anything, what will it be everlasting in some cases in the city? Hey, man, I'll hang up and listen. And just kind of hear, and I'm sure you covered it already. And I heard you talking about the Aaron Rodgers thing. And listen, Luther, you guys are the experts. I love some Tomlin, and I love Omar, but I'm not following them right now. When they got rid of the young guy, Fields, and then you got rid of Mr. Wilson, you know, I'm not following this strategy, and I'm sure you talked about it already, but please tell me that don't jump ship and this thing is all going to wash out in the flush at the end or whatever, but I'm just hoping this thing works out. We have nobody, you know what I mean? And we're chasing.
You're not a Mason Rudolph fan, Mark?
Say it again?
Mark, Mason Rudolph, the guy that got hit in the head with a helmet a couple years ago.
I remember Mason Rudolph. I think he's an average player.
Very average.
I don't know if we can take him, all season. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if he's handled the temper issue. You know what I mean? But once again, he was a fairly decent, good thrower, but he didn't move much in that box. And you got to be able to get up out of the way.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to do that as well. And so I think it's good to have. He's a strong backup. He's a steady hand. But these guys today, it just seems like everybody has the ability to hurt you with their arm, but they also can hurt you with your legs. And those are the teams that are really competing. And that's the kind of player you got to have. I thought we had that in field.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I would have liked to
know
see him
why
jump
he had
every
it
year.
filled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, hey, and I'll hang up and listen and just and hear what you guys think about that. What's happening, Smoking Jim?
Jim.
Hey, Mark, always good to hear your voice, man. I tell you what, brother, you say you don't know sports, but you know a lot more about sports than most of the people that we talk to, man. It's always a pleasure, brother.
Well, I appreciate that. I just raised those questions sitting in the cheap seats there, brother. You know what I mean? Well, listen, man, I'm going to continue to listen. Thank you, guys.
All right, appreciate you for the call.
What's happening, bro?
All right, take care.
Right.
So Jim, you want to jump in on that as far as the Super Bowl coming, what the city gets out of it? The draft coming, not the Super Bowl.
I think the Pittsburgh Steelers would be better off right now if they had Mark Brentley's son. That boy could throw the ball out of Yellowstone Park. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Great quarterback.
Yeah, Desmond, yes.
Hey, listen, man, we got to, and Claudio talks about this all the time, and I know you do too, Luther. We got to position ourselves to be involved in the Super Bowl. Yeah, there's going to be, if you're one of the people that is paying to watch the NFL draft, you're going to be compensated with souvenirs and the like. They got sponsors and stuff like that for that. I don't think they needed to go to Detroit. They need to go to Green Bay, because Green Bay is closer to Pittsburgh than Pittsburgh is to Detroit as far as the city and everything. The only thing we need is some cheese heads. But he's absolutely right, man. I thought Justin Fields was the move, especially with Artie Smith as the coordinator. I thought a running guy like Justin Fields that can also throw, and the Najee Harris at tailback. I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers had the talent to move further towards the Super Bowl dreams.
All right. And as far as quarterback, so you're sold on Aaron Rodgers, huh?
Well, how can you not be? He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
At least two more good years left in him. I think 3 years ago he won the MVP. But like I said, last year, 28 touchdown passes would have probably won us a playoff game last year if we had that kind of pedigree at quarterback.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll get you, Claudio. Who the GOAT is in here? He says Toros of money and a lot of trash coming to the city. All right, Claudio. Your thoughts.
The restaurants and hotels and the Ubers and the cabs, and they're all going to do fantastic. And I'm very happy for the restaurants and all those people I just mentioned. They're going to make a ton of money. Now, as far as the quarterback's concerned, I still say they should have kept Justin Fields. But as far as Rodgers is concerned, is he better than anybody they have or anybody they're going to get? Without question. A 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers is better than an 80, 70, 60% Aaron Rodgers is better than anybody they're going to get. But again, what have I been saying? A good fit. Let me give you an analogy that Jim and Luther will definitely understand. Teddy Atlas is a Hall of Fame trainer, without question. Donnie Lalonde's a former world champion. Teddy Atlas was his trainer. Donnie got rid of him because it was not a good match. Teddy was always on you and always grinding. You're not good enough. And Donnie was more cerebral. Donnie had a right hand that could knock down a wall, but he wanted to hear more of a tactical advice in a quarter, not you're not doing good, you suck. Yeah, he didn't want that. So he got rid of Teddy Atlas. Does that mean Teddy Atlas wasn't good? No. Does it mean Donnie wasn't good? No. It means they weren't good together. Rodgers is still a good quarterback. He still has a hell of an arm, still accurate, but he does need a line. They don't have one. It'd be nice if he had a running game. They don't have one. They have the receivers, but you need the time to throw. But not only that, but the bare bones of it is Arthur Smith. Does that playbook fit Aaron Rodgers? No. So again, Atlas Lalonde, not a good match. Rogers Steelers, not a good match.
Yeah. I think you guys said it all. We got Zach in there. He's saying, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Zach? Give us a call as we get ready to wrap up." One thing I want to get to, unlike you guys, I'm not sold on A-Rod. I saw him with the Jets last year. Led them to 5 wins. I think he's done. I look for them to try to move up, get Shador, Sanders. I'm not really impressed with a lot of the quarterbacks in this draft, or wait till maybe the 3rd round and get a Milroe if he lasts that long, or even a Will Howard late. I wouldn't mind that either. But again, number to call, 412-530-5063. And last thing we want to get to is the NBA playoffs. Are you guys watching? And what are your thoughts so far? I thought the Warriors-Memphis game was pretty exciting last night. 2 blowouts otherwise. Smokin' Jim?
I'll tell you what, man, I love the NBA. The play-in games are so great. I heard that Golden State was blowing them out all game, but I only watched the last 2 minutes. The last 2 minutes was great. I tell you what, your boy, when he ain't pointing the gun at somebody, he can really jump, can't he?
Oh man, he's special. But you know what? I'm looking for. I'm just excited we get to see LeBron James for another year. Hopefully him and Luka can do some great things because the time is wrapping up before he's possibly not going to be playing in the league anymore. We'll have his son, but it's not the same thing. But just a special player that we're looking at in LeBron James.
See, like
great game. Go ahead, Claudio. Claudio.
Minutes ago that he was coming out of high school. Unbelievable how fast it went.
Yeah. I mean, he's done some great things, man. I mean,
all those years have gone by though like a shot. Unbelievable.
Yeah. He's the real deal.
He sure has put up a lot of meaningless stats.
What meaningless stats, Jim? You keep saying that. Meaningless stats. The all-time leading scorer is meaningless since when?
Nobody cares about. Nobody talks about it. Meaningless.
Nobody what?
Nobody talks about it, so it's meaningless.
I mean,
you're not talking about it like it's Babe Ruth's 714 home runs. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about that.
Jim, the all-time leading scorer in the NBA, a record that people never thought would be broken. Come on, Jim. He's been the most talked about guy. People talking about him. Isaiah Thomas is talking about him warming up 5 hours before the game because he has his shirt off, and it's big news. Skip Bayless, Stephen A. made whole careers off of him. Come on.
He should be suspended for that.
Why? Nobody's Jim. See again what you don't know, and obviously Isaiah Thomas didn't know. That was 5 hours before the game. There were no fans in there. It was just him and the cameraman. He's been doing it for years. There's nobody in there. That's before the game started. 4 hours before. 4 hours before, Jim. That's how he warms up. You get a good sweat. Jim. Oh man, see, that's that old school. Isaiah Thomas was one of my favorite players, but he was dead wrong on that, man. He sounded like an old bitter man, like you do half the time, Jim. I saw nothing wrong with it, Claudio, disrespect him at any rate.
Claudio, what I understand is Michael Jordan got put off recently of a golf course because he was wearing the wrong shorts. Hey, you gotta have. Hey, man, there's etiquette everywhere you go.
This was before the game. Nobody's there. He's like the only one in the gym.
Hey, how come Michael Jordan got put off a golf course?
That's a golf course. They have all kind of rules. Jim, you don't know nothing about golf, man. You swing worse than Charles Barkley.
They got rules. They got rules in basketball too. Put a shirt on.
And that's not one of the rules, Jim. That's before the game.
So it's five hours before the game, you can go out there without a jock?
Jim, he has sweatpants and a do-rag, or nobody's there.
I'm just saying nobody's there, so he can go out and get a good sweat. He can go out there butt naked.
Only you would say something like that, Jim. Jim, these old guys just find a way to criticize everything to the point where nobody wants to even be the face of the league. Hey, we got Lil Z on the line before we get out of here. Let's get Lil Z. Lil Z, what's on your mind?
Gentlemen, how's it going tonight?
All right.
Good to be with you, fellas. Let's real quick, man. While I'm on here, real fast, let's change gears. Let's talk about the Golden Glove. Let's talk about the state of boxing in Pittsburgh, real fast. While I'm here, real fast. Smokin' Jim, you were out there passing out awards and stuff. You probably didn't even go to any of the Golden Gloves.
That sounds like a Jim move.
Or to quote Smokin' Jim, he'll come in at the very end, the very last round of the very last fight, and then write the story.
Right. Hey, so Z, you're still heavily involved in boxing, or you're just checking it out as a fan?
Behind the scenes, you know, there's too many Indians and not enough chiefs.
Got you.
You know, so, you know, I try to stay optimistic for the Donnie book and, you know, for great fights and great fighters, whatever. But, you know, I think MMA catching boxing, you know, like a lightning rod.
Well, hey,
cage fights at midnight in Vegas.
Hey, you could say that, but where's Danny White going? He's getting into boxing.
You know what, though, Z? Everybody says that, but every single boxing match that you see on TV, all the boxing matches that we go to, they're packed. So they're not doing that bad.
And Z, what do all MMA fighters want to do? They want to fight Gervonta Davis. They want to fight these guys. What did Francis Ngannou do? He just went to boxing to fight Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua because he wasn't getting paid in the MMA. They're trying to get into boxing. So you could say it's catching up, but the athletes in MMA aren't saying that. They want to get over into boxing where they can make more money.
Well,
so I disagree.
Well, what I meant by catching up is not so much financially. Obviously, you can make more money in boxing than dealing with Uncle Dana in Vegas and the mafia. But that's neither here nor there. What's really catching up with MMA is that they've made the top fights. We get to watch the fights we want in MMA. Like, we don't have to wait years. We don't have to wait. Like, the top fighters fight. They don't have a choice. Dana makes them fight. Now in boxing, we have to wait years for Earl Spence to fight Bud Crawford. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's where I do agree with you. That's where I do agree with you. Yeah. MMA, those guys can't, you know, let fights marinate until they both build their name to a certain level and it's the most money. It's like, you're number one, you're the champion, fight. I agree with that. That's what I do like about it, that they have to fight. But one guy who did fight this past weekend, the phenom, Jerome Boutinis, he's the real deal. I'm looking for him to unify. It's a shame that Bud Crawford and Spence ran out the division to avoid fighting him. Stadionis is a solid fighter. He's a champion, Jim. He's a champion. Jerome Boots is pound for pound. I told you that years ago, Jim. He has everything you want. Power, speed, feet, chin.
Problem with these black fighters like Tank and Boots, they talk that they wanted to fight all these folks, but they never do. They always seem to get a stumble bump.
Yep.
Boots has been listen. Boots is getting ducked. Gervonta Davis can fight whoever he wants. He's moving around the top competition.
Fighting that Roach guy is supreme injustice to boxing. Some of these fights are supreme injustices. There's never an injustice in the MMA in the cage. They settle it in the cage the way it should be settled. Like,
man, MMA is overrated. Those guys fight each other. They fight 7 and 8 times. Yes, that's good. It's overrated. Nothing's better than the sweet science. Boxing will always be better than MMA. It's a better sport. Now, you can say those guys fight all the time, but nothing's better than a pure ring. Everything is better about boxing and MMA to me.
I
You know.
agree with Little Z. I agree with Little Z.
Jim, you don't know anything about MMA.
That's right. I think I give everybody credit when they go inside of the ring and fight, but I agree with you 1,000%, Luther. I think you hit it right on the head with everything you said.
Right. And real quick, Z, because we got to get out of here. What do you think about Jerron Boots Ennis? We got a hater smoking Jim who's way off topic about Jerron Ennis. I think he's the future. I think he could do everything. I said he was going to be undisputed at 147, 154, and 160 if he gets the chance. That's how good I think he can be.
Well, let me finish with this. Who's he with? Who's he with?
He's with Eddie Hearn.
Who's he with? He's with Eddie. He's with Matchmaker?
He's with Matchroom, yeah.
Okay.
So he's going to get those fights.
Well,
and Eddie Hearn is with Turkey. Turkey Alashig is making those guys fight.
With a nickname like Boots, he might as well be from the Lower Hill District. But we'll see how this plays out for him.
Oh my goodness, man! He's the real deal. You guys will all be believers, man.
Hey, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong.
Well, you get ready to say you're wrong. You and Smokin' Jim. This guy's the real deal, man. Hey, Z, we got to get out of here, man. We got to
yes,
put
sir.
you on the show soon. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Yep, anytime. Hit me up.
All right, man.
Sir. Later.
All right. Later.
Peace out.
All right, peace. Hey, well, that's the show, man. We got to get out of here.
Everybody happy Easter. Peace out.
All right, peace out. All right, Jim, man. Appreciate you, man. Any last thoughts before we get out of here, Jim?
Jim hung up.
Jim went away. Hey, Phil had some technical difficulties, but appreciate all the calls, all the comments. Frank Jackson was up in there. Who the GOAT? Skywalker, Lee, Ralph, Zach. Appreciate you. JMD03, Frank Jackson. Appreciate everybody who came in. We're going to start doing this on a regular basis. We got some special guests coming on very soon. So, hey, everybody stay tuned. Check out the website, scsportsworld.com, and we'll check you out next week. Peace.